I used to have a more interesting job. Yeah, that's true. I used to have a much cooler job. I won a contest when I was 23 to become a Lego model designer. This is true, yeah. I won a contest at Legoland Discovery Center in Kansas City to become the Lego master builder when I was 23. And I signed up for the contest as a way to come up with material. And I was like, I got it. I'll go do this dorky contest that these guys are doing with these Legos, and I'll come up with jokes. And then 4 hours into it, I was like, I think I can win this thing. And it turns out that I was the biggest loser in the entire place, you know? Yeah, dude, the joke was on me, right? You know what I mean? Like, I walked out employed. That sucks, right? It was amazing. It was the coolest job I'll ever have. I got to build these cool Lego statues. The pay was dog shit. The pay was really bad. But I was 23, so I didn't know that, you know? Like, in the interview, they were like, all right, the salary is $35,000 a year. And I was like, wait a minute. Are you telling me I just won the jackpot? I was like, is that what you're telling me right now? Dude, that is way more than I require, you know? And I worked behind this big glass window, and I worked in this little room. I built things all day, and hundreds of people would walk by the window and watch me do my job. They'd watch me build. That is a crazy way to do your job. Hundreds of people watching through a window. I only know one individual who has even a similar work environment. It's this dude, Coco. He's a chimp at the Kansas City Zoo. I went to the Kansas City Zoo, and they were like, this is Coco. He plays with his toys all day while everybody watches through this window. And I was like, mm-hmm. I was leaning to the guy next to me. I was like, it's actually not as easy as it looks. So, I was like, there's actually a lot that goes into that, dude. Yeah. He's like, really? Because he's flinging his shit against the wall right now. I was like, all right, well, you know. Quick side note on the Kansas City Zoo. You know they say elephants are aware that they're in captivity because they're so smart? I locked eyes with an elephant at the Kansas City Zoo, and not only could I tell that it knew it was in captivity, it felt like it knew it was in Kansas City. You know what I mean? There's just something in its eye. It's the saddest animal I've ever seen on the planet. Anyway, back to the Lego job. Nobody took the job seriously, you know? Like, I would talk to moms of kids who would come up to me, and they'd be like, I am such a big fan of your work. I love your work. My son is also a Lego master. And I would be like, thank you so much, and I'm sure he's so talented. But he's not, like, technically a Lego master. And she'd be like, no, he's just like you. And I was like, he's not just like me. Right? She'd be like, no, he's crazy about Legos. I'm like, how crazy is he, all right? Because I got a tattoo on my arm, lady, all right? I got things. Don't clap. This is the lamest tattoo that anyone has on the planet. I have a Lego brick on my arm. So. I did have like a small meltdown with a mom though. She was like, well, my son is just like you. And I was like, I have a salary and he is a child. She was like, oh, what's the big salary? And I was like, all right, well, it's more of an allowance, but yeah, it's technically an allowance. Yeah, dude. Kids would say crazy things at Legoland too. I had a kid in a very public Q&A setting ask me if I had ever built 9/11 before. Not like the Twin Towers, you know what I mean? Like a more specific moment. And I hadn't. Could you imagine if I had, right? Just people walking by the window like, whoa. All right, yeah. Crazy day at Legoland today. But to be fair to the kid, if you walk into any Legoland, it kind of does look like an Al-Qaeda pitch room, you know? Like just all the Lego models in, if you go into any Legoland, it's like Empire State Building, White House, Hogwarts, you know? Like if Bin Laden went into Legoland, he'd be like, pretty good. These are pretty good ideas. Yeah. We should hit one of these, right? Hogwarts, should hit that. Should fly a car into that. Yeah.